Hey there, Mary Sheila here from Occidental Nutrition, and Happy New Year. I hope you're having a good one so far. We're just getting started, and this is the time of year we set our goals for our health and our prosperity and our visions that we have that we want to accomplish for the year. So I thought I would jump in here and just jump in on the collective energy of the goals that we all have, and of course to talk about our health goals and to talk about cravings, right? Because cravings can come in from like the foods that we want to eat to the one more show we want to stay up late for, right? For, you know, whatever we want to imbibe in, that's just maybe sometimes too much of a good thing. So let's talk about cravings and really how to stay in front of them so that we can accomplish those goals and feel the best that we can feel, right? So when we're talking about cravings, I'm going to bring it down to the food level because that's a big one to kind of get over. And it's really about finding that balance in the body. So the first one I'm going to give you is just staying hydrated. And I know you hear that all the time, like sometimes you're not hungry, you're just dehydrated and you're thirsty, but it is true. And sometimes you can just drink that water and give the body hydration. We're 70% water, and you might actually really need some water. And if you still end up eating, let's say 20 minutes, a half an hour later, you've coated your stomach with a little bit of water and kind of getting it ready for digestion. So that's a good thing. So drink water. That might actually be just what you need, and you can hold off until later before you eat. The next thing that you could do to help balance your cravings is to make sure you eat balanced meals. Now that is like my mantra. And so if you don't know that about me, you can watch some other stuff, but you want to make sure 1/2 to 3/4 of your plate is plants, 1/4 of it is starchy, half of it at least is non-starchy greens, but then you want to have good healthy protein and also some healthy fats. The more you balance your meals, the more you can sustain yourself for longer in between meals, and that is the secret sauce to then not feeling like you're thinking about food all the time and needing to eat again. And then when you do sit down to eat, be mindful. Mindful eating, like treat yourself like you would maybe treat your child or a little person that you're going to feed. You don't want to be like, come on, eat while you're running through the forest. You want them to sit down and enjoy and savor and get good digestion. You want that for yourself too. It's going to help you not to eat too much. It's going to help regulate what you eat, and then you're going to enjoy your food, and maybe you're not going to have as many cravings because you just got a lot of satisfaction out of that meal. Next thing is fiber-rich foods. Fiber is going to also feed our microbiome, and a happy, well-fed, diverse, thriving microbiome is going to mean we're going to have less cravings. An unhealthy one might mean we have more cravings because maybe there's more yeasts and different microbes we don't want in there. So we eat fiber-rich foods. The other thing about fiber is it really fills up our stomach, right? And it makes us feel full. And that adds to the length of time we go before we, really start thinking about food again and feeling hungry. And here's the difference, right? So think about something like cheese puffs, which can be very addictive, and that's something some of us might crave. Now, when you eat a cheese puff, what happens? It literally melts in your mouth, right? And then it goes into your stomach, and it does not take up a lot of space like fiber does. So it's very easy to eat like the whole thing, right? Instead of just eating a couple. Plus, they're full of all these flavors. They're laboratory designed. They excite all of our dopamine receptors, and it's hard to eat just one, as they say. So we eat too many of those, and they don't take up a lot of space because it's something called vanishing caloric density. That's what those foods like chips and cheese puffs and pirate booties, all those things have in common is they just melt in your mouth, but they're very high calorie. They're full of fat, sugar, and salt. So they do take up space in that way. They're very high caloric, but they don't take up space in the stomach, so you can totally eat a whole bag, right? And who has done that before? Myself included, okay? All right, the next thing is you want to make sure with each meal you include protein. Protein, the more you include protein with every meal and snack, the more you are going to stabilize your blood sugar, the more the cravings are going to start to diminish. When I talk to people who tell me that they've tried everything to lose weight or to whatever, and then I ask them what they're eating, I always see gaps of protein in their diets. I always see it missing out of meals, missing until it's not until like the end of the day. It's only once a day or whatever. So you want to include protein at every meal. And, I'm happy to share more, and I have on other videos and on my YouTube channel, like you can find where I'm talking about this, but this is key. And then you want to also, like, hopefully you're eating well-balanced meals. You don't need to snack that much, but when you do snack, you want to have healthy snacks. And don't fall for the other food industry secret of like, here's a snack size, whatever processed food they have. Like, snacks should just be regular food that you have in your fridge, or nuts and seeds or fruit, right? That are whole and unprocessed, that are like easy to just, put it on a small plate and eat it. Nuts, seeds, olives, right? Maybe some smoked salmon, whatever. But just, does not have to come in some little snack size bar or package of processed stuff that's usually going to be low protein, or if it is protein, it's very sweet, right? So really just try to still have whole foods even when you're having a snack, right? And the other one is really identify your triggers. Like, what are your trigger times? What are your trigger foods? What are your trigger situations? And see how you can remedy that. Maybe if every time you sit on the couch to turn on the TV, you feel like you have to have this thing, why don't you just do something different? Go take a bath, crawl into bed with a good book, right? Go for a walk. Like, change it up, right? Or make yourself a cup of tea, right? Sometimes the kitchen just has to be closed. If certain situations trigger you, can you switch that? Can you change it, right? And so maybe certain foods trigger you and you just need to keep them out of your house. That's my secret to not eating chips, just FYI. Okay, the other one is getting quality sleep. This is so important too, because when we don't get enough sleep, right? We want to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. When we don't get enough sleep, what happens is we wake up, we might not be as well rested. We're going to be more tired, groggy. That kind of almost can sometimes look like a little bit of depression, right? We don't get enough sleep. Our cortisol's raised, our insulin resistance is not, or our blood sugar balance and our ability to take in insulin and blood sugar and glucose is not going to be working as much if we're chronically sleep deprived and have higher cortisol. So then we have more cravings, right? We don't get enough sleep, cortisol's raised, saying, oh yeah, the body's a little stressed, I'm here to help, but I like sugar, right? So we want to make sure that we are prioritizing sleep. So that also means we need to, might need to look at things like, how late we stay up. Like, if you feel sleepy on the couch and then you go into your bed and you turn on your phone and you got that screen right in your eyes, it's going to wake you back up. So we have to make good choices, right? We have to conquer those technology cravings as well. Okay. The next thing you could do, which it's a little different, but sometimes even having like a little bit of xylitol gum in your purse or your pocket or your car is a great way to go, because xylitol like naturally cleanses your mouth. It makes your mouth feel very fresh, as if maybe you just brushed your teeth. And it's actually antibacterial for your mouth. And sometimes just something like that kind of gives you that little sensation, cleans your mouth, and then you feel fresh, like you just brushed your teeth and you're like, oh, I don't want to eat, I just brushed my teeth. Okay. And sometimes you have a craving and it doesn't go away, and you need to indulge yourself with that craving. I had a client a few years ago, and she said, when I have a craving for a cookie or some ice cream, I go to the ice cream store and I get a scoop of ice cream, or I go to the cookie store. She says, I do not keep them in my house anymore. I have learned that does not work for me. So that's a great, way of thinking, because, sometimes it's not about being perfect, but, it's about doing the best that we can. And if we want to have a treat, maybe we, do something like that, or maybe we make it ourselves. Sometimes when I make cookies, I will make a batch of cookies and I will put them into cookie balls, and then I put them in the freezer. So if I have a sweet tooth, I'll cook 1 cookie or 2 cookies or maybe 4 and share, whatever. But it's not like I have 30 cookies for the next 5 days that I'm, sabotaging myself with. Okay. Healthy alternatives, right? You want sweet after a meal? Hey, try fruit. It's wintertime. Cara, citrus, delicious. It's sweet, it's savory, it's astringent. You get all these flavor profiles. And if having a piece of fruit instead of a piece of chocolate feels like something your mom would say, just try it, and you might find that it starts to actually work and feel good and taste delicious and yum and yum. And if you're like a milk chocolate addict, would a little sliver of dark chocolate help you, and you naturally would eat less of that because it's not as sweet and it's harder to eat a little bit more of that. Stay active. Stay active. I hear this all the time. Gosh, the more I exercise, the more I move, the less I want to eat the bad foods. So move your body as much as you can. Go for walks. That raises our serotonin and it helps us to feel less like a need to snack and all of that, okay? Plan ahead. Be a planner when it comes to your food. It's okay if you like to live spontaneously, but when you don't know what you're going to be eating and you're like, you're going to grab for the quick, easy carb because you're probably hungry. So try your best to plan, bring food with you when you're out so that you're not, stuck hungry and then eating whatever's there or what you see in the store. That's when you just don't make the best choices. And have a support system. I have some communities and we're all about, supporting one another with our health goals. You can learn more at occidentalnutrition.com, but also, if you have a friend or a family member who's in on it with you, sometimes we don't live with people who share the same health goals and they might even sabotage our health goals. So find your buddy, find your people, share with them. In this world today that we're so tribal and we're so divided with, political and all kinds of stuff, find a community that's really wants their health and that they know that true health is their own personal wealth. Find that and let that be your community if you don't have it around you, or find a friend and you guys can text or Vox or whatever. Okay, so just to recap really quickly, stay hydrated, make sure you have balanced meals, enjoy your food, eat mindfully, include plenty of fiber. Remember, vanishing caloric density. That is a food industry secret to get us overeating the wrong foods and then kind of becoming addicted to them. Protein with every meal and snack. And snacks do not mean small snack size. Snack is still whole unprocessed foods as much as we can in a smaller amount when we need it, right? Because maybe we've gone too long between meals, right? Identify our triggers, our situations, our foods, the time, and see how we can remedy that. That might be when we need to add a healthy snack. Quality sleep, super important. Chew gum from time to time. Keep that mouth fresh, like you brush your teeth. Mindful indulgences. Hey, sometimes you got to do it. You got to bake it yourself. You're going to go out and get that one thing so you don't have that whole box of cookies in the house, right? Because you know what happens when that, at least I know what happens in my house. Healthy alternatives, right? Healthy alternatives and staying active, plan ahead, and have a support system. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all, and I will see you soon. And let me know if you have any other tips that you like to do for your healthy ways to curb your cravings. Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon.